Well, hey, good morning, everyone, and good afternoon if you're in Eastern Canada. It's Leanne Calderwood coming at you on LinkedIn Live. I am joined today by one of my favorite people in the industry, Ryan Young. Hi, Ryan. Thanks for coming today.
Hello. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to me.
Yes, it is afternoon. Well, we're going to be in the same time zone soon enough. We're both getting ready to head out to Toronto for the Canadian Meetings and Events Expo. And I'll be honest, every time I say those four words, Canadian Meetings and Events Expo, I start to laugh because I feel like, holy crap, this is actually happening. We are actually going to see people face to face at the Expo. I am so excited to be there. And I know that you're heading there as well. And the irony is you're heading there for the first time with your new role at the Ottawa Marriott. Do you have a couple of minutes just to share what it is you're doing over at the Ottawa Marriott?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I had one of those people that made a transition right at the start of COVID on April 1st. I joined as the Director of Sales and Marketing at the Ottawa Marriott in downtown. And, very happy to be over here, but also extremely happy to start to see the return of live events and to start to grow the teams again and start to see groups coming back. So, it's been great over here, but it's, as I said, there hasn't been a lot to market in the last year and a half. You're just trying to survive. And so here we are where things are on the up and up.
Yeah, it's been a promising fall already. I mean, we're starting to see events come back. We're starting to see, obviously, our own events like the CME Expo coming back. And we're starting to see a lot of people reach out again on LinkedIn as teams are starting to hire back their sales forces and get ready for a new sales cycle and a new sales season. And so that is what we're actually doing today is as teams are starting to grow and change, so are all of our LinkedIn profiles as we start to add our new positions and kind of position ourselves in a place where people can find us to do business with us. So one of the reasons I'm heading to the CME show is to help Ottawa, the Ottawa Tourism and Business and Sports Events Ottawa, with their LinkedIn presence and their LinkedIn profiles. Right. So I'll be in the booth helping planners with their different profiles and, of course, representing Ottawa. So we thought it'd be a fun exercise today to kind of do one of these reviews live on LinkedIn Live to kind of give planners a sense of what they'll experience when they come and visit us in the booth on the show floor. So I want to say thank you for starters because you've agreed to do this in front of, I'm sure, millions of people who are going to tune into this live.
And full disclosure, you wouldn't let me tweak it. I wanted to tweak it before, so it was already good to go, but you made me leave it as is.
Yes, I am making you leave it, but this is great though, Ryan, because I think people then can see themselves in their own, in your profile, and then be able to make those changes as well. Which reminds me, everyone, a lot of people watch LinkedIn Lives on replay. So if you have comments or things that you want to mention to Ryan, even on replay, drop them in the comments. We're monitoring the comments throughout the weeks ahead. So please keep your comments rolling in if you're on Team Replay. For those of you who, though, are on Team Live, we encourage you to join the conversation as well. And we're going to dive right into this profile. So just give me a second here. I'm going to bring up Ryan's profile. So this is Ryan's profile. And I'd like to start by saying it is a very attractive profile. You've got some great color. You have a great profile picture, Ryan. Do you mind if I ask how old is that profile picture?
No, I'm just looking. I am actually wearing the same shirt, which is honestly by fluke.
Okay.
You know what's great about this profile? It was the last picture I had taken before the pandemic hit. This was taken at the European Meeting and Event Congress in Spain. And that was February of 2020. So just before the pandemic hit.
So that's great news. I'm glad to hear that it's within the last couple years. It does look recent. So what you see is what you get when you see Ryan's profile and then when you meet him in real life. So even the same shirt, you get the exact
same shirt. It's the only shirt I have.
So, yeah, I love the integrity of the profile picture. So, but I want you to talk to me a little bit about your background and why you chose this particular graphic for your background.
Okay. So as someone in marketing, I talked about being with the Ottawa Marriott, but I'm also, like many of us, have a side hustle in the industry, and I'm a co-host on a podcast called The Illuminate Project. So, and we've had the pleasure of you having being one of our guests, Leanne, in this season. So we just launched season 2. So I wanted to kind of build that up and throw that on the LinkedIn profile to get people listening, because in that podcast we talk all about surviving and thriving in the status quo. So kind of put that on there. But I usually try and flip out the header a little bit every now and then. But my question to you, which I'm hoping you're going to, is I wear multiple hats. How do I represent that?
Yes. Well, and we are going to cover that today. And I appreciate you giving me some background on your intention behind your banner, because I think now I have something to work with. So let's start with that first question, or that last question you asked about being a multi-passionate. That's a word that gets tossed around a lot about people who have their hands in many pots and serve many different audiences. And Ryan, based on what I know about you, because we are industry friends, but also based on what you shared today, you've got a few different audiences. You've got your the clients that would be using the Ottawa Marriott Hotel. Right. That's one audience. That's one person that you want to appeal to. But you also want to appeal to industry professionals as a whole to draw them into the Illuminate Project podcast. So let's start with those two passions. You've captured the passions in your headline, but where we can kind of, I guess, tighten up the headline just a little bit is why they would want to engage with you in either of those things. Okay. So first, let's take the hospitality sales leader part. I know what that means because I'm in the industry and hang out with people like you all the time. But for someone who you are trying to attract, your ideal client, so perhaps this is the occasional meeting planner or the administrative assistant who's never done this before, when they come on their profile, are we accurately portraying what a hospitality sales leader can do for them? Right. So that's what I encourage people to do with their headlines is put your target audience in mind and ensure that the words that you use in your headline communicate very clearly on how you're going to make their day better. So hospitality sales leader, I think there's opportunity there to include a few helper words like helping event planners meet in the heart of Canada. Yes. Something, we're throwing stuff at the wall during this live, people. If you've got stuff to throw on the wall to help Ryan, throw that in the comments. So that's one way that we can reach out a little bit better to those occasional meeting planners who maybe don't know what a hospitality sales leader is. Right. Now, if you were to tell me that your audience was also, you're trying to attract different thought leadership opportunities because you do want to position your personal brand, I think we can still keep that hospitality sales leader piece in there. But we definitely want to add something to the meeting planner that says, I can trust this guy to help me with my meeting in downtown Ottawa. Same thing with the second piece. You are a conversation starter. But what does that mean to the listener? Do we want people to listen to the conversations that you're starting? Do we want people to inquire about sponsorship opportunities? What is it that about the Illuminate Project podcast do you want people to engage in? And that now circles back up to your background photo. It's a fantastic visual. It's got great color. It's easy to read. These are all good things, Ryan. You've done everything right. But where's the call to action? Do we want them to listen to the podcast? Do we want them to pay for the podcast? Do we want them to speak on the podcast? Okay. So if there's a way that we can keep the integrity and the cleanliness of what you have and add a call to action, and you'll have to remind me what the website is for you guys, but maybe it's just putting your website link in the bottom right-hand corner. So people know, okay, there's a podcast, they're on season 2, and this is where I go to listen. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Now my question would be to my Marriott family as well. Is there a way to represent both in a header image, or does it just get too complicated?
So I thank you for asking. You're right. I would probably leave it out of the header image unless you wanted to make the header image about Ryan Young. Right. And then it becomes about the hospitality sales leader, about being a DOS at the Ottawa Marriott, and about being a host on TIP. So that's kind of where some entrepreneurs can take some creative liberties by putting all their multi-passions in the background photo. But I wouldn't have the brands of the multi-passions competing with one another.
Right.
So Ryan is a brand, Ottawa Marriott is a brand, and Tip is a brand.
Right.
So when you're doing your background photo, focus on one at a time. But you said it earlier, and I'm so glad you did. Backgrounds are super easy to change out. So if you get bored of your background or you want to change out what brand and what impact you want to make, you have the ability to do that.
Right.
As long as you're not creating confusion in any of your target audience's eyes about who Ryan Young is as a person, you can change out your background to kind of suit your needs. So like you said, you're right in the middle of season 2 with Tip. So if you want to put a website link there, once season 2 winds down, maybe it becomes more about booking weddings at the Ottawa Marriott. And so we have a flashy background banner. Where we can maybe keep the consistency is ensuring that our headline stays consistent, but yet still reflects the integrity of the background picture.
Okay.
Are you still with me?
Yeah, I was just gonna say with the headline text there's a limit of text, I believe, right? So how wordy are you kind of trying to keep it to 2 lines, I would assume?
Yeah, so you still have quite a few characters to go. I would need to do a character count on yours in particular, but you still have some real estate to work with, Ryan. For people who are multi-passionates like you, what they do is actually what you've done here is they'll have a little divider line, or they'll divide their passions with an emoji or some kind of like the divider looks great. Once upon a time, I heard that the divider doesn't get picked up by the search engine, but if there's any LinkedIn experts watching and you know what conversation I'm referring to, drop that in the comments as well. So I saw people lean away from the divider line at one point because of the algorithm, but I can't remember why. That was a discussion I had well over a year ago with some other LinkedIn peeps. So you have some real estate, and actually maybe I'll, just because this is the only one that comes to mind right now is mine. I'll kind of show people what my profile looks like and how much real estate that you would have, Ryan. So I've got 3 lines filled here. And and here's our live. Sorry, I forgot that this would happen. By the way, if you're ever curious on what it looks like, if you host a LinkedIn Live, this is what it looks like. It actually shows up in your banner. So whether someone's watching it on their phone or they're watching it on their desktop, they're actually on your profile watching the live. So that's not my banner, folks. That is the live program that Ryan and I are literally on right now. This is very meta, actually, super meta. Anyways, I've got 3 lines here, and I don't think I was super duper struggling for characters. So you've got some room there. Again, it doesn't have to be a star, but it just has to be some sort of visual break. With LinkedIn, what I love about LinkedIn, because it gives us so much real estate, is there's a lot of opportunities to create those visual breaks so that when someone comes onto our profile, it's almost like a design board where we have opportunities to keep them on our profile, right? We keep them on with our featured section. We keep them on by adding some color and some section breaks to our about section, which is, I know, what you're going to do after we get off the call. So we have opportunities to bring people into the profile, and you do a great job with the visuals up here. And now we're going to work on keeping them on the profile with some other visual elements. And again, it's that clear, what is it that you do for me that's going to keep people reading on about you?
Okay.
How are we doing so far?
Yeah, no, great following along. I'm curious about the about section. That's what I want to hear your feedback on. And I've been through a couple other LinkedIn reviews many years ago, and I think that is where I need an overhaul myself.
Okay, so let's do it right now. So the about section is awesome real estate. You have so much room here. You definitely way more than what you've got. In fact, I think you could probably triple, maybe even quadruple your text here. But the about section, really, we should word that. We should use a different word for the about section, because the about is really about the people that you're serving. When LinkedIn first started, it was the resume platform, and it was all about talking about ourselves and our experience. But now when people come to LinkedIn, they're looking for problems to be solved. So the About section is a great place to start solving their problems, or at least to start positioning you as someone who can help solve their problems. So most LinkedIn experts would agree that an About section that focuses more on the other individual versus ourselves tends to get the reader to keep on reading. This does a few things, Ryan. Is number one, the person who's reading it will know right away, am I supposed to be reading this? Am I the person that is Ryan the person that can help me with my thing?
Right.
And secondly is the About section then gives you opportunities to talk about all those different people that you're helping. Because again, with you, you've got a few different audiences that you're helping. You're helping industry professionals find relevant conversations through tip, and you're helping event planners find their ideal hotel in the heart of Ottawa. So we can outline this all in the About section using replacing words like I with words like you, and outlining, you are looking for conversations that defy the status quo. That's what this podcast is about, and me and my team do it. And right, we're spitballing again. People, drop in the comments if you think if you got something to tell Ryan. Same thing with MPI stuff. If you're looking to influence someone with this information, Ryan, be clear about who it is you're influencing. Right. Otherwise, anyone from outside the industry, that event planner, they're going to read this and go, I don't even know what this is.
I can already picture what I need to tweak that to now.
Yeah. So, and again, I'll go back very, very quickly to mine About section, because like you, Ryan, I've got a few audiences that I speak to. And a lot of, again, LinkedIn experts would agree, if you've got this much real estate, make sure it's easy to read. So include lots of carriage returns, include some emojis, include some breaks, so that the reader's eye can quickly go from section to section and keep their interest. And this is where you may want to spend some time, is create value added statements to the audiences that you're serving, and then put all of those audiences right in the About section, so that when a meeting planner comes to your profile, they'll know right away where they fall.
Right.
And so they don't have to go through all of the paragraphs to get to the stuff that's relevant to them. They find that they're meeting an event planner. Okay, this is what this person can do to help make my job easier today.
Okay.
How are we doing so far? Still good? Yeah,
no, it's great. I'm trying not to get too far ahead, and I want to make the changes now. But I'll wait till we're done.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and we can always do a redo live on the show floor.
Right.
So after you've made some changes. Any other immediate questions about the About section?
No, that's clear.
No? Okay. We're going to keep going then. So again, I love your featured section. I took the liberty of looking at all of your assets on here, which is what featured really is just a collection of your best assets. And your assets can be in the form of websites, which you've got here. It can be in the form of YouTube videos, which you've got here. It can also be in the form of some of your most popular LinkedIn posts or articles.
Right.
So you've got a great featured section. It really catches the eye. Again, with each featured piece, make sure that there is a goal behind the piece. If we're going to feature this, is this to attract someone? In this case, this one definitely is. I know exactly what it is that you're trying to achieve with this featured piece. The only thing I would mention, there isn't a featured piece yet about your hotel.
Exactly. Yeah, you can tell you've caught me. I haven't updated it probably since February of last year.
Yeah. And that's fair. So you may want to add a featured piece about your hotel.
Yeah, sure.
And then you can always reorder them.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you can upload a PDF to this too, right? So if I've got like a 1-page fact sheet on our hotel, I can put that up there.
You can. My only cautionary tale with PDFs is this is such a nice, clean image. It's really stunning. As you can see, this one gets cut off.
Right.
The featured section ain't great for dimensions on images. So if you upload a PDF that's super wordy, that's how it'll appear in here. So what I recommend for people who have fairly wordy PDFs is create a clean, simple image, do the image, but then down in where they can read on for more details, link to the PDF that lives in like a Google Doc or something. Right. So they can still get access to the PDF and print it and do whatever it is. But the hook, the picture, the hook gets them to the PDF. Otherwise, it looks really wonky.
Okay.
Test it, Ryan, play it out. Because I don't know what your PDF looks like. Maybe it looks very clean to start, but I have a feeling if you just try and do a straight upload, it's just going to be too much. It's going to be too much for our people to follow. So the other thing I wanted to, sorry. How are we doing for the featured section?
Yeah, no, clear. I think I wanted to find out about the PDF point, and your point of just linking it in a Google Drive or Google Doc makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, and I've done that with mine here. Oops, I got to go up for my featured, and I'll tell you why. Not this one, not this one, not this one. Maybe this one. Let's try this one. This one might be my PDF. Oh no, I did away with my PDFs because they were too wordy, and I turned them into carousels. That's what I did.
Presentations, yeah.
Yeah. Shoot. Doesn't matter. I guess I don't have an example to show you. Is this an example? Nope. Okay. I don't have an example.
You're too professional. You're too ahead of it.
Well, again, it's because my PDF looked like crap.
Yeah.
It just didn't flow with the rest of my profile. Maybe I'll talk about this because we're on this right now. My featured section is above my activity and my about and my experience. And Ryan, if we look at yours, your about and is above your featured and your activity. There's a reason for that. I am on what's called creator mode, which means I have indicated that I want my content to rise above my experience. Right. I can very simply turn this off, and then my profile would look a lot more like yours, where I have the about and the featured and the activity and the experience. So that's why our profiles look different. It's not because I'm any more special or I've done anything, wonderful. So anyone can be a creator and have a different layout of their information. Okay. And we can talk more about creator mode maybe on the show floor. But if you go to your profile, there'll be a section here, just like on mine, that says your dashboard. Yeah. And there will be an option that says creator mode, and you can decide if you want to turn it on or off.
Okay, that's great.
Okay, where are we? We are on experience. Okay, what I love about experience now, and actually, well, this has been for a few years, but it's definitely an enhancement since LinkedIn began, is we can add different assets on the experience as well. So this is another great place to put that PDF. Right. So again, we're just going to go down to my experience. This is where you can add documents, you can add images, etc., so on. So you may want to do that under the Ottawa Marriott. You also may want to do it under tip. Yeah, I mean, it looks like you've done one for the Brook Street, so you know how to do it. You just need to add a few more assets under your experience. And then you've got your MPI stuff, which is awesome. Love it. And it's under the volunteer experience as well. Everything. Oh, I gave you a recommendation.
Look at
that. Yeah, I mean, the rest of the profile, where we all lose eyes is kind of around here. Mm-hmm. They all kind of make it to the top two experiences, and then that's when we start to lose dwell time on people. So you can do one of two things. You can spend a ton of time updating everything else, or just pick one or two things to focus on this season to update, and pick another couple too next season to update. But the majority of your time for any updates here and moving forward is really from experience all the way up to the top.
Okay, great. That's great.
Whew.
Yeah, lots of little takeaways, lots of takeaways in there. And I think some things that maybe I didn't know LinkedIn could do, or I guess I did know they could do, I just forgotten they could be done, like the attaching stuff to your experience. That makes a lot of sense. I have fact sheets and everything else for Marriott I can throw up there.
Yeah, and again, you'll have to gauge from your clients, where did they find you to find out how effective those assets are. But the great thing about LinkedIn is you have this real estate to put the asset. Taking 5 or 10 minutes to do it just again helps, for even if it's just that one person who checked out that asset and got a better sense of what the Marriott can do for them, then it's done its job type of thing. Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of the bulk of the profile, but certainly happy to stay on to answer any questions. Or what we can do, like I said, is give you some time now to kind of take some of these tips away, start to make a few tweaks here and there, and then we can pull it up again on the show floor in a couple short weeks. What do you think?
Well, yeah, that's what I think. I would like to make some tweaks to, and I also think there's some value in for those who watch this and see the old version, then they can come and see the new version at the show. Come and see us in the Ottawa Tourism Booth, and get kind of a more in-person experience of review of the LinkedIn, which we're all excited for.
Yes, I'm excited to do it. So thank you so much for your time today, Ryan. And you made a good point. Take some screenshots of your old profile.
Okay.
And when you make edits, make sure you save it in a Google Doc. Because if LinkedIn was to disappear tomorrow and then all of a sudden it launches, but it lost all of your hard work, you've got it saved somewhere in a Google document. So especially for your about section, there's a lot of words there. So yes, everyone, we are so excited to come together as an industry in 2 very short weeks at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre in the heart of downtown Toronto at the Canadian Meetings and Events Expo. I'll be hanging out with Ryan in the Ottawa Tourism Booth, doing exactly what we are doing here today with Ryan. We won't go through your entire profile, but we'll go through the top sections and make sure that it's speaking to your target audience so that you can attract more leads and opportunities. Ryan, thank you so much for being my guinea pig here today. And do you have any parting words before?
No, I said you were nice. You took it easy on me. I think you probably gave me some flattery that I didn't need, but I appreciate it. And some really, really great tips in there. And I used to think I was kind of caught up on LinkedIn, but clearly I've got, if you're not updating it every couple months, you're not on top of it. So
listen, we're all in the same boat, Ryan. And yes, you do have some really great things about your profile, and you've got such a powerful brand that you can do a lot of really fun things with your profile. So I'm excited to see the changes that you make. And so thanks for joining us, folks. Again, if you're watching on replay, Ryan and I will be checking in on the comments, and we might even talk about your contributions live on the show floor in 2 short weeks. I can't believe it's coming.
That's great. Yes. So exciting.
Yeah, it is. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Ryan, thanks again for being a part of this experience, and we'll see everyone in a couple weeks.
Sounds good.
Super. Bye for now.